How are we both?
Good, thank you.
Have you done that 2016 trend yet?
No,
No,
can't say
I
have.
haven't.
I was like really up to that trend.
Hang on, you are trendsetters, right? You don't follow trends. Yeah, sorry, silly me. I would have thought you'd have both done it because you were winning the WSL with City, Nikita, in 2016. Jordan, Arsenal just won the FA Cup as well, 2016. So it was a good year. If you'd like to throw it back, you can. It's something happening on Instagram.
I'll have a Google.
Yeah, have a Google of me in 2016. See,
what did
that.
I do?
You can do that. Help me actually, because I saw that my passport runs out in 2026. Because I saw that I got it in 2016. So yeah, good news. Well done, mate. This is Pitch to Pod with WSL legends Nikita. Can she kick it? Yes, she can. Parris and Jordan Nobbs. La 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 la. Every week, they bring you topics straight from the pitch to this podcast as we discuss the biggest talking points in the world of football, the WSL, social media and beyond. This week, new shiny trophies, hey big spender, and walking in a weekend wonderland. How has your week been? What have you been up to? You've both got very cool tops on, which I don't. How are we? Some of us love the FA Cup, some of us don't.
Well, I was waiting to introduce some of us at the FA Cup, some of us don't. No, yeah, it was a really good week. Travel to Sunderland was a bit long, and that pitch still hasn't changed. It hasn't changed in all them years. And Mel Ray is still there. Such a lovely woman, but she's been there a very long time, since I was a kid. But that pitch is something else. That slope.
The free kicks
Wouldn't
go
be
over.
Sunderland without that slope.
Yeah. Do you know what I really liked about Sunderland though? The fans were so funny. They were like, get in them! You know, like that Robert Georgie act. I was like, fair play. Fair play.
Jordan, like it wasn't to be for Newcastle, but how was it for you? Did you can you enjoy the game?
No, not when you lose, but a bit frustrating because first 20 minutes we should have scored. Like we needed to take our chances and we didn't. And then naturally, you know, they are a good side in the league above us. So there was lots of learning. Obviously I know stats mean like we always say they mean nothing, but like it was 50% possession. We had more shots than them, more entries into the final third. So I know like a game doesn't matter about that. We've always said that, haven't we? But I think when you don't get regular chances to play against teams that are above you, I think it's still good to take the positives. But yeah, still frustrating. 'Cause you always feel like that, like, oh, it wasn't that far off, even though it feels it sometimes or looks it on the scoreline. But yeah, you got to take your chances, and West Ham did. They had some good finishers, to be fair. Nice goals from them.
Yeah, you weren't far off. And it is one of those ones that the minute you concede, then you try go chasing the game and it can open up as well. So it's never a true reflection. Speaking as I do as a football expert. You've had some more incomings. Delphine Cascarino coming to London City, Nikita. I mean, she's won that many Champions Leagues that she's probably won more than most teams put together. Well, she has, hasn't she?
Yeah, she's won a lot. But yeah, it's an unbelievable addition to the team. Brings experience and quality, and yeah, we're really looking forward to playing with her again because I played with her at Lyon and she was a little bit younger then, but still the same. She's such a lovely girl, and yeah, I'm really excited for her to show everyone in England what she's about because she's top talent.
Yeah, she's really good. Are you going to race her from the halfway line to the...
I ain't racing her. No way. I've had experience of trying to race Delphine, so no, definitely not.
I'll just goal hang. You just run it up here. Is that it?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Carrier.
I'll just wait in between the posts, and I know the ball's coming. No, but I'm really excited for everyone to see her talent because she's got some talent.
I know that she wanted to move closer to home. It's 3.5-year deal, which sort of backs up everything that London City are trying to do, that she's brought into the long term of it as well. How do you both feel? Because obviously the season ends in the US. she's left San Diego Wave. But we always see this around this time, don't we? Like key players that have been in America coming over. Are you all for that? It's almost like you get sort of peak player because they're right at it from the American side of things, and then coming straight into the climax of the WSL as well. How do we feel about sort of playing in both? And would you like to see more players do that swapperoo?
Well, I think it's a great addition for us, and I think she's had experience in the US, which is a totally different league to the WSL in how it's played. Um, and as we know, the WSL is a top league, is probably the best league currently, and it just brings more depth and quality to our league. So I think it's really exciting, and yeah, I'm sure more players will swap and change leagues over the next few years as leagues start to grow in other places. And yeah, it's all about the experience and what you want. It's a total change for her. She's obviously played in France, played in the US, and now England. It's a good CV. Play that.
It's good how far the game's growing. I think before, you didn't see that happening. And even when some Americans came over, it wasn't for a long length of time, which is, I know obviously Cascarino's not American, but like for that to happen, it's just slowly changing our league. Like everyone you speak to now are like, well, they want to play in the WSL, or they leave the WSL and they want to come back. So I think that's so good that our league's just going to keep growing and signing big players like that. It's like such good quality to bring to the pitch. I think that's a great signing for you, Keats.
Agreed.
We weren't going to talk about that, but we've just talked about it. What we were going to talk about first is the FIFA Women's Champions Cup, which is on Sky. We've got exclusive rights to the semi-finals and the finals. It's Gotham, Corinthians, Arsenal and AS FAR all competing. Semi-finals will go through to the final at the Emirates, semi-finals at Brentford. It's great to see a new competition. And also, like you've just said, to have the best in the world coming and playing the WSL. We've got the best in the world coming and taking on each other here in England as well, which is a great credit for our stadiums, our setup, and what we're trying to do, right?
Yeah, and the growth of the game in terms of playing teams from other leagues. And you only really got that experience when if you was in Champions League, but also if you was playing for your national team and you're playing, Brazil, Argentina, teams that are not in Europe that you wouldn't necessarily play regularly in an international window. And it's such a totally different way of playing. Some of the games that players you come up against do some different things than European defenders, let's say that. Like, it's a totally different art of the game and how they go to win. So it just, it really broadens the horizon of women's football. And it shows how much the game has grown over the last 10 years. It's been amazing, to be honest.
It's kind of made for Arsenal, this trophy, isn't it? At the Emirates,
Sounds like.
semi-final, final. Like some teams aren't. Are some teams not like their end of season now? Are they maybe as well? So they're not. Yeah, not as much rhythm. But no, I think whenever there's an extra trophy for anyone to win, it's what we play for. So yeah, I think it's good that they're introducing that in, and I can imagine in 5 years' time we're talking about and it's developed again, more teams or bigger occasions. So I think it's a good stepping stone to start with.
Yeah, it's the 6 continental confederations, which is very easy for you to say. It's a bit similar to the old Men's Club World Cup. So they've all been competing, and then we've got the semis and the finals, I was saying. You're right, but being made for Arsenal, I know that the intention in the future is to play in a neutral venue, but being at the Emirates, if it's full as well, to see these different countries from all over the world. You talk about different styles as well. On Monday, I was watching the Premier League, and did you see the Greece player with the overhead kick?
Yeah.
It was like phenomenal. And you want to see that sort of stuff, don't you? You want to see those different styles. If you're a fan coming to it, you want to hear and see different fans as well. And in London, more than anywhere in the world, we've seen it when these teams come to play, their national teams come to play too. All the fans come out. So that should add sort of an extra element to it as well.
Even the players, they want to play in them bigger. They want to play with a full stadium, don't they? Like you see people swapping shirts with teams like Arsenal that are like, wow, this is like how the women's game is now over here. So yeah, I think even for players, it's not like a negative thing on it. Obviously, Arsenal being in it and there, I think other players want to play on them nice pitches, full crowd. So yeah, it's good for both sides.
And we're talking about the Emirates, like Arsenal is a team that's got, fans worldwide, and I'm sure players within them games from the other teams or supporters all like Arsenal, and Emirates is an unbelievable stadium to play in. And yeah, although it might seem that it's very Arsenal driven, they'll definitely enjoy the whole experience, and what an experience it'll be.
I now want to know if either of you have scored from an overhead kick.
No, I don't
No,
think
I
so.
don't think so.
Would you try it? Or the pitch is... You need a soft pitch, right? Or a big bum like me.
I just think you need the right technique, because
Alright,
it could
yeah,
go
that too.
horribly wrong. But I remember the only overhead kick oh no, actually there's two. Cristiano Ronaldo v Juventus, when he played for Juventus, and Wayne Rooney when Manchester City played Manchester United in the derby. I'll never forget that goal. I was like, that is the best goal I have ever seen. Honestly, I think that's the best goal I've ever seen. Even if people have repeated it over the years, I think to do that in such a big game, in a pivotal moment, was crazy. Wayne Rooney was just unbelievable, actually. It was unreal.
Yeah, that was insane. It's rare that it like comes at you there as well. You know what I mean? Like there's not many opportunities to try it, but yeah, Wayne Rooney's was
That was
like across his
wild.
body, across the goalkeeper. Yeah.
Garnacho's was
insane.
lovely, actually. Man United v Everton, that was a really nice one as well. But Wayne Rooney's was just...
Do you not even try it in training?
No, but I've seen a few people try it in training. And I think, please, don't do that again. Don't do that again.
Please pull it out next game. Please do it. Please do it next game. If I'm on the side just with a mattress that I just throw out underneath you as you're about to do it, so it's, no bruising. That's why I would never make goalkeepers. Anyway, the next two editions of the Champions Cup are in 27 and 29, and then there's the Club World Cup starting in between as well. But yeah, like I was saying, 6 continental confederations. We're going to bring you live coverage as well, and it's got a pretty brand spanking trophy. Anyone seen? Do you see Alex Scott unveil it as well?
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's a shield type thing, isn't it? A fair, which I love. Something a bit different to it as well. Check it out. We'll talk more about that next week. A little quick one. We're talking money, Dosh Spondulas. Next, women's football has had a record year financially. Deloitte has said that Arsenal and Chelsea generated the most revenue of any women's football club in 2025. 21.5 million for Arsenal, Chelsea 21.3 million. What is it, you both know, that Arsenal get right? Do you think? I mean, we probably just mentioned it with the Emirates, haven't we? That they're just generating so much. When you think that Chelsea have been winning everything, and yet Arsenal still top that.
Yeah. Arsenal are definitely doing something right. Honestly, like, to go to the Emirates and see a stadium like fill up the way it has over the seasons, and then to be fair to them, they had initially, say, 3 games within the season at the Emirates, and then each and every season they just added more and more, and then to play every home game at the Emirates. And yeah, it really shows it shows that they value the game and they value what the team can bring, and they're doing something right with the marketing, because to see so many fans in stadiums consistently is very impressive.
Yeah, I would say from experience, what they do is just top quality, like down to the like staff after staff after staff that just deal with club days, with collaborations, with like it's all them little things that add up. But don't get me wrong, it's been I went there when I was 17, and it's been like a 10-year process. But how they've done it and push that investment, it's probably just like easy work for them now. Filling the Emirates. They don't really even, I bet if they didn't even promote it now, they'd still be filling the stadium. So yeah, it's been a long process for them, but I think that shows the goal for other clubs as well. it doesn't change in a year, but with time given to teams and investment, like, look what you can do. 10 years ago, you used to arrive at 5 o'clock, train on the Astro, and leave at 7. You know, that's changed in that space of time. So yeah, I think there's just so many things they're doing right and know how to push the right media platforms, and um, we all know how big the media world is and stuff like that for sponsors, etc. It's just added income to the game.
And consistency, sorry, like they're consistently trying to get better at in different avenues. And yeah, I think, also you've got to applaud the players because in order to create such a movement, it has to have a player involvement. And that's sometimes it can mean extra media days, longer hours. But now they're seeing the fruits of the labour, what they've put in over the years. And yeah, and winning the Champions League, it's all like culminated at the right time, and it's really, yeah, it's good to see. And I'm sure that that's why now with all of the media exposure and how they're getting it right, there's more pressure to deliver. And that's why now there's more eyes on Arsenal. And you've won the Champions League, so now the expectation is to go and win the league, to win FA Cup, to win the Conti Cup. Like, it doesn't stop there. And I think they've dealt with it really well over the years, and I'm sure going forward they'll want to continue to grow that fan base and ultimately grow a fan base is winning trophies.
Seen they've been doing this stuff as well about growing block by block at the Emirates, so just trying to make an identity in each block as well. So because that's the important thing, you look along the line and you see someone that you gave sweets to last Christmas from your pocket that were covered in fluff, I don't know, whatever it might be. You build those relationships, don't you, with people you sit around. You don't know them from anywhere else other than when you're sat in that stadium. So trying to make it feel a bit more like home.
Yeah, I remember Boreham Wood, and I will never ever forget the first time I played at Boreham Wood. I heard this voice, and I was like, "Who is that? She hasn't stopped singing, or she hasn't stopped screaming someone's name." It was Maria, and
Maria,
honestly,
yeah.
every time I went to that stadium, if I didn't hear her voice, I wouldn't feel like I'm at Boreham Wood. And it was just crazy. And then to play for Arsenal and hear her sing your name, I was like, wow, this just takes me back to when I was 16, playing against Jane Ludlow and getting smashed by Casey Chapman in the middle of the park. It was just like, it was crazy. For me, it's such nostalgia. And I think that's what you want. That's the identity that you want to create at each and every club, because that's what you relate to.
Mm. Yeah, you're so right. Go in there, and we'd be broadcasting, and we'd try and pick out the "Come on Arsenal," which was Maria up in the stands.
Arsenal, Arsenal. I'm like, who's that?
With someone so small in stature, she had
Yeah.
this huge voice, didn't she?
Yeah, she was iconic. She is iconic, actually.
Maria, yeah, just a wonderful, wonderful fan. And one of those things, actually, I saw some quotes attributed to Leah Williamson. I haven't seen her original interview, so I can't say whether it's exactly as she said it, but she was basically talking about at Boreham Wood, you can hear the insults, like you can hear directly what people are saying, whereas at the Emirates, it's sort of more of a boo or a cheer. You don't hear it. And I didn't clock that, actually, or think about that. When you're at a smaller ground, you're hearing directly from the fans. And I guess actually that can be a bit more intimidating, can't it? Because you're hearing those insults directly to you, which can be a lot more personal. Actually, being that further away can maybe take off some of that stress as a player.
Yeah, and I guess you're a player of the home team, never mind the opposition. And when you're going for a throw in and the fans are right on top of you, or a corner and they're right, like they literally feel like they're an arm width away from you. Yeah, it can work both ways, but I think you definitely don't want to be a home player hearing that abuse, because you're there to play for them. So that can be tricky for sure.
On the other side of that, Everton, it was a minus 5.4% growth on the previous 12 months. Are we seeing some clubs left behind in this?
I think it always will be that way. Men's football, women's football, there's going to be teams left behind. But I think if we do want the WSL to keep growing, you do want that bulk to not get too big, because there's not a lot of teams in the league. So you don't want it where you've seen 5 or 6 teams at the bottom that are just really, really dropping off and losing that investment. Because it's a snowball effect both ways, isn't it? When a club invests and they see the benefits or they win trophies, they bring that money back, the fans come in, it's a snowball effect to then invest more the next year. Whereas when they don't, it's also even harder on, like Keith said, the staff and the players to actually do the best they can because they haven't got all the resources to do that. So it can definitely snowball either way. But I think unfortunately there will always be a gap, and it depends on the likes of, I guess the best example probably is London City, where they've come in and they've gone, right, we're going to buy these players in, we're going to bring these staff members in and new facilities, etc. As 2 players that have been in the game for a while, that's a big thing to happen in the women's game, and it puts a lot of eyes on London City, but it's what you want really, to push the game and have teams close the gap on teams.
And I think with Everton, they've just this season moved to Goodison. It was totally different with them playing at Walton Hall Avenue. It was a very small stadium and very limited access for. And it was a brilliant move for them to go to Goodison. And now it's like you've made a big step in going to Goodison. Now the next step is to, start to fill the stadium. And like Jordan said, it does take time. It's not gonna happen overnight. And yeah, you can see shortfalls in some areas, but let's see them numbers in 4 or 5 years.
And already the attendance is up for Everton, you're right, and going to
Yeah.
Goodison as well. So how that will change next season. Landing someone like Delphine Cascarino, that obviously, landing you, Nikita, I should say more like, is you're sold the whole dream, aren't you? You're sold what's going to be. Is that very much players going forward now will look at training facilities, not just the badge on the shirt? Because I imagine in times gone, you might see that name of a team in the Premier League and think, oh, that's a big team, I'm just going to sign. Of course I want to go and play for that team, not thinking what the other side might be for the women's team in that. Are players now being a bit more demanding about facilities, what they want to see from the physios, what's behind it? It's not just a sort of a name on a badge.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing for growth. I think in order for the game to look better on the field, there's so many cogs and steps underneath that to allow that to come out to the light. And I think it's so important that the demands of the game and the requirements of individuals, you continue to grow the game. And it's so good when you've got experienced players who've played in other leagues, won like won trophies, and have high expectations, because that can only fuel a greater future for the next generation. And that's what I think, as individuals and as players, over the years I've seen players who've gone before me really fight and push for the next generation, and that's what we have to continue to do, because the game has got so much growth to come, but you've got to continue to fight for that and believe in it, because 10 years ago, who would have thought that you could sell out the Emirates, or you can consistently have 6 to 10,000 fans in at games. It's like, and now Arsenal are going from 6 to 10,000 to 30,000 plus. That's what hard work, and that's what continue to fight the good fight, like they said.
Yeah. And you wouldn't
to
have
make
got to
happen.
Newcastle, would you, Jordan, if you'd not? I mean, I know there's an element of going back home, as it were, but not if things weren't up to scratch.
No, because I think over the years, like, obviously you'd love to just walk into a team and it be a finished, like totally finished, clean slate, all that rubbish. But it's like, I think as long as the club have ambition and they have goals, that's enough for me as a player. For me to go back to Newcastle, it was enough for me to be like, these are our goals. This is what we're going to bring in the next year, 2 years. This is how we're changing the facilities, the pitches, a chef coming in, like, etc., etc. And I've already seen loads of changes happen in the few months I've been there. But I think that's the main thing. I think if you're at a club and it's just a bit stale or you've not got a goal. And I'm not saying a goal needs to be win the Champions League or whatever. Sometimes it can just be, look, we want to get mid-table this year, but then if you do hit mid-table, there has to be the next goal. There has to be, how do we get past that next step again? Because I think if not, you're just playing because you love the game, but you're not playing for that like winning goal. I think as a player, well, especially if you're competitive, you want something to reach for. And I think that's what excited me so much about Newcastle. I think they're say 5 years' time, nothing happens overnight, like I've always said, but I think they'll be a big club that people want to go to. Like I really do. Naturally promotion always helps with that, but there's still time. There's still time to develop the club and learn. You learn if you don't win. You learn to how far away are we. When Man City or West Ham in the cup games, we've learned a lot from them. Didn't come out with 3 points, but still learned and improved from it. So yeah, I'd say with Newcastle, it was nice to see a club pushing to be the best.
I think as a player, even if you're not a player of that team, just within the WSL, there's nothing more frustrating than seeing a team invest at one point, go and win the league at times, or compete within the top 3, and then totally fall off. It's like, how can you invest, get yourself winning the league or competing with these teams, and then over the next few years think that's going to consistently stay the same, and then when it then becomes a point where it's like, actually I'm actually not going to give any more money to this team, and then you just watch it fall off, maybe go into WSL to get relegated, then come back up, but then not really perform, because which is more frustrating, because if you do invest, then the heights you can reach. And for me, it's like, that's why we've talked earlier or in other podcasts about having certain requirements for teams that are in the WSL, the top level of the game, to continue to grow and push and just make the league more exciting and more fun.
Just so little money as well in football terms relative to what's being parred in elsewhere. I mean, huge amounts of money in everyday terms, but so little when you see the money that's kind of spent on 20-30 million pound signings. And then we're talking about, which is great, the Arsenal, Chelsea, 21.5 million, 21.3 million, but that's an average defender now in the Premier League, an average midfielder, that's whose contract's nearly up at the end of the season. That's what's tough. I was chatting to someone who's an older male footballer at quite a high level club, and he was saying that one thing he really struggles with is when he came through, he worked his way up through the leagues and had to really work for it, and so he feels like he earns it, so he enjoys his time playing football. But he sees some of these younger players come in and they think, oh, I've turned pro, so they're just playing on the table tennis table or over on the PlayStation, and not using every minute to go and practice free kicks or whatever it might be. And he really struggles with that with some of the younger players coming through. Will the women's game ever get like that? Because there's players now coming through who've only known, albeit it's not, again, huge amounts of money, but have only known a professional game. And I wonder if, like, you two are having to, not at your current clubs, but at previous clubs, whether you've had to, like, pull up some younger players and, like, you don't know how lucky you are. Or has it not got that level yet?
Honestly, I feel like sometimes that's just the natural progression of football and sport. Like, like I said before, we want to push for the next generation to receive better treatment and be more professional, and really given the opportunity and the resources and the support to be the best version of who they can be and see how far they can go. And how that is viewed from previous generations is a hard one, because that's what you're fighting for. You're not fighting for you personally to be able to be that and have that, because the game is what a person got 5 years ago, 6 years ago is totally different to what a player's getting now, and that's just how it's going to be. But I think the one thing is when you see talent not working hard to be better, I think that's a frustration. Like, some people just naturally have talent and they could, walk on the pitch with only a 10-minute warm-up and deliver. And other players, it could take a 40-minute warm-up. That's just individual, quality. But it's like when you can see a player can be so much better than what they are, but they're just not working hard. That's it. I think that's the frustration.
You'd be crazy to be a young kid now if you love football and not want to be in the game and not want to try and do everything. Like, God, yeah, it's like what Keith said. We used to fight for all sorts, like, which is fine. It's the game's changed. People before us fought for even more than that. But yeah, you'd be crazy not to. There will be players though that could take it for granted, and like we've all seen, football changes quickly. It's not hard now for a club to go, right, we'll have you and you're out. So I think, yeah, I think you'd be mad if you didn't want to try your best to be in the game now and not play ping pong.
I think the thing is with some players though is like mentality is like it's the pressure of being that. It's okay to accept that you're a good player, but to be the best player and the best version of yourself, some people are scared of that. Scared of what that takes to be that. And that's a frustration for me because I just think, why not? Why not go and try and be the best version of yourself? And if you fail, that's part of sport. That is so normal. Failing in sport is how you learn to be better, but not trying and not wanting to fail. I don't get that.
That's anything though, right? I remember Matthew Speller at school. He could basically do exams without having to study at all. And it used to really wind me up. I was like, how can you be so good and not even try? Some people are just, born into it. Yeah. Anytime you remember someone from school, it has to be their full name, right? Who was your first kiss? Mark Russell. I can remember it all.
Wow.
I wonder if he remembers. He probably doesn't. It was only 2 weeks ago. Anyway, right.
I want to see a picture of Mark.
No, you don't. I do. I wonder what he looks like now. Right, as you listen to this, League Cup semis are going on. Stop laughing about Mark Russell. It wasn't funny. No, we were having this conversation. I met up with some of my friends from school the other day about, I'm just going to tell you, how when I had braces and we were at a 16th birthday party and we were having snogs and I snogged this guy called Greg Hensman and my brace got stuck in his.
Oh no.
Wow. That was like an Ugly Betty moment. You remember Ugly Betty?
Yeah.
I'm like Ugly Betty crossed with Miranda. That's who I am. And I'd forgotten. That's why you need to stay in touch with your school friends, because I'd completely forgotten.
Good
that we were trying
times.
to get a race out like that. Anyway, yeah, League Cup semi-finals this weekend. But let's focus on the league and something else quick. One of the biggest WSL fixtures, Chelsea-Arsenal at the Bridge. Chelsea playing catch-up, or Manchester City, of course. Arsenal in third. So even though Arsenal, I'm sure, would look at it and say they're probably not up there for the title at the moment, although maybe they wouldn't say that. This is still huge, right? With Manchester United, this race for third, London City, Spurs, all the teams that can still mess with the heads of everyone up there. Is this one of the biggest Chelsea-Arsenal matches we've seen in recent seasons? Or are they
I'm going to
always
say that
like
every season.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Every
I'm going to
season.
say that every season.
Right, let's insert last season's answer and go to the end of the show. But it is, isn't it? It's huge.
Any top four game is a big game, especially when you're trying to take points off the team that's, just above you or just below you. You want to, take them 3 points, and I'm sure Arsenal will be really wanting to make a statement at the Bridge, for sure. And yeah, catch up Manchester City, who are the front runners right now.
Jordan,
They've all kind of got. Yeah, sorry, go on.
No, I was going to ask you. You were at the Arsenal Villa game. Wait,
Yeah.
What have you made of Arsenal so far?
It's a hard one because sometimes it's like there's always been this little falling short bit in the league, and I can't explain what that is, because sometimes you watch and it's like, well, they're playing really well, or I don't know, dropping points to a West Ham or something like that, when obviously naturally the expected team to win is Arsenal. But it's hard because they just won the Champions League, and I know obviously you need to, like, well done, one of the best experiences that, ever doing that. But it's like, what's that kind of cutting edge in the league that always seems to fall that little bit short? Because they've got the players by far to do that. But at the same time, it's just the competitiveness of the league. Chelsea, great team. Man City, great team. They've obviously kept most of their players fit. Other teams rotate. They've got Champions League as well, so that's also takes into account. It's tough changing your players, changing your team. But I still love watching Arsenal play. Like, the way they play football, I just think is just some of the best football, really. Even when I was at Villa and we played against Arsenal, they were by far the hardest team to play against.
But not to put too much pressure on Manchester City, but I will say that the other two teams around them are in Champions League and they're not, which gives you a good advantage in terms of knowing your schedule week to week and getting that like kind of break, especially when you're playing FA Cup, Continental Cup still. It's a lot of games in a short space of time for the other teams, and having the 6-point gap at this point, also their signings and how their squad has stayed healthy and fit and the depth that they've now added, it's going to be hard to take it away from them, I must admit.
Yeah.
They've all got to play each other again, have they?
Yeah,
They've all got each other again.
they've all got each other again. And if I was a Manchester City fan, I would feel very confident in this moment, and I would be sorely disappointed at the very end of the season if they don't take the league. I would be, because you have everything right now is in your favour. I will say that. But it is the WSL, and the
Yeah.
other teams around you are competitive and they want to win, and yeah, you've got to play each other, and you've got to play other teams that really want to pick up points in and around the league as well. So
They've got to play you, Keats,
they do.
this weekend.
They do. And, other teams will want to pick up points. So you have to be at your very best each and every week. And that's what I will say Chelsea have done in previous seasons. They've delivered when they needed to. And it might be 1-0, but they've always come through. Their winning mentality and knowing how to win football games in previous seasons has been really good. So they won't be giving up any on this league so soon. They'll feel confident enough to want to take points. So, yeah, I'm interested. Very interested.
Do you have? You're not going to tell me your secret plan for Bunny Shaw? Maybe I'll just get in her ear and tell her to try and score an overhead kick.
Well, she's gave our defenders some tips on how she wants to attack the ball in the box. So I hope they've been listening.
Ah, yeah, too right. The
Seen that.
masterclass. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Just don't allow that.
Yeah.
Don't allow that space. Don't allow her to do that movement.
Yeah. It's again, I don't expect you to say, but Jordan, do you obviously have plans for players like that when you go into them, and you've played with so many as well. I'm sure teams have plans for you and what they're going to try and do to put you off, Jordan. But when you're actually playing the game, if players are that good, does it matter? Because you focus on them, that takes the focus off another player and opens up space there.
Yeah, I always feel like the top players just find a way.
Mm.
They find a way to have that extra bit of quality or movement. Bunny Shaw's probably one of the best examples, because her movement in the box to, you're thinking, right, we'll stop her running behind. Well, just cross the ball in the box and she's got another threat there. So, yeah, it's tough to do that. I think you can't get too fixated on it. I think you just have to, realistically, there's 11 players on the pitch, isn't there, that have to do a job to stop the ball coming in the box as well. So it's kind of like, it's a team game, really, to not allow her to create chances. But the best teams in the world, the best players, in the world, we've all seen it happen where they still find that moment of magic that sometimes is just unstoppable.
I know you've got some brilliant central defenders anyway, Keats, but you'll pick up the phone to Wendy Renard for this weekend. Get her in. That is a duel I would love to see, by the way, if we can make that happen. Jordan, Newcastle, Charlton away this weekend too, so you've also got
Yeah.
top of their league.
Ooh, big
Yeah,
games.
big game. Big game.
Amazing.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, especially after the game being cancelled, and then we've had just like one game. It's like I'm just ready to get into the league now, and yeah, huge game, but we know what we're doing.
Nice. Confident.
Yeah.
I like that.
And it's like we said before, it's better, right? Because you can take points off them, which helps you out. So why wouldn't you go into it confident? Absolutely. Anything else nice happening this weekend? I mean, it's football enough.
No. Are you going to say it's your birthday or something? I mean, like you're going to say it's my birthday. Or...
Going on a date with Mark Russell? No. I'm not. I do wonder what happened to him though. Maybe I'll have to go. No, that's a bit creepy. I'm not going to Google him.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
why don't
a
you
little
two
bit
Google
creepy.
him? Someone else Google
No.
him. It's probably quite a common name, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, that's it for this week's Picture Pod. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Nikita. If you've got something you'd like them to talk about, get in touch. Use the hashtag #PitchToPod. WSL back then. Everton Brighton is Friday night under the lights. I love a Friday night game. Sky Sports Premier League for that one. Sunday, Nikita's on our big screens too. London City take on Manchester City on Sky Sports Football. Nikita has promised to do an overhead kick. Big game for Jordan this weekend as Newcastle take on league leaders Charlton. Will she pull out the celebration? Kick off at 2. Get yourselves down. Support them too. And always, always remember your first love. Goodbye.